reverse mortgages. How does the government work with a reverse mortgage? I understand there's special insurance through HUD or something. Can you explain that to us?
Well, let me say this, Don. The reverse mortgage product has gotten a bad rap over the years, but many safeguards have been built into the product. And so that's the information that we're trying to get out there right now.
Okay. But the actual reverse mortgage, because I think it's real important to try to explain how it works. Someone, when they borrow the 50%, that $105,000 on the $220,000 house, the government insures that loan through HUD, correct?
That is correct.
And every month, that amount of the insurance is added to the primary balance of the house. Is that true?
That is correct. And what it does is it ensures that the homeowner will never owe more than the home is worth. So just in case you were in a tough situation and the market was depreciating and your home's value was going down and your reverse mortgage balance was going up, and let's just say that you're in a position where you owe $20,000 more than what your home is worth, but you need to sell or you want to sell. You would never be responsible for that deficit balance. That's what the insurance takes care of.
But how the reverse mortgage works at the end, though, is when the homeowner passes away or sells the house, that's when they true up the amount of the mortgage, correct?
That's when it has to be paid off, when the home is no longer the primary residence.
And so someone who borrowed $105,000, included in that $105,000 every month would be the interest rate charged to borrow that $105,000.
Correct.
Plus the monthly or yearly, however it's taken out, HUD insurance to cover the balance.
Yes.
So someone, and I don't know the terms, but we're just going to speculate, someone who's had a $105,000 loan on $220,000, 5 years later he may owe $145,000.
Sure.
So at the time of sale of that house or upon their death and the house is sold, they would have to pay the $145,000 back to the lending institution who lended the reverse mortgage. So I'm sort of trying to paint the picture of how it works, because a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to get to live in my house and I'm not going to pay a note, but how does it work? And I'm trying to paint that picture. Did I paint it well?
Yes, you did. And the biggest misconception is people think that when they enter into reverse mortgage, that they're actually signing their home over to the government, and that's just not the case. You always retain title to your home.
The only thing that you're basically giving up is any equity, not any, you are going to give up the equity you use in your home in the reverse mortgage, and upon your passing or selling the house, that's when you make it right.
Right. You're using the equity in your home for yourself.
So for example, if you have children and you got a reverse mortgage and it's $105,000, upon your death, instead of the kids getting $105,000, you can tell your kids, well, I got to use the $105,000 to enjoy life, I guess.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that for a lot of reverse mortgages, I'm actually contacted by the adult children of the senior living in the home because they want their parents to live a more comfortable lifestyle. So they want to look into this for their parents.
Now, I understand there's been changes. It used to be the reverse mortgages were pretty automatic for someone over 62 that had equity in their homes. And it always starts with the equity in the home, I understand. But now it's changed a little bit. You do have to do some qualifications. Is that true?
There have been more changes to the reverse mortgage product in the past year than I have seen ever since I've been doing this for several years. So now you actually have to qualify for the reverse mortgage. We do what's called a financial assessment.
Okay.
So on a reverse mortgage, now you do have to provide tax returns, pay stubs, W-2s, 1099s, bank statements. So we have to actually look at all that documentation and perform a financial assessment to make sure that the homeowner has the means to make the payments for the taxes and insurance over the years.
Now, Mary, your office is in Mount Dora.
Correct.
And there's retirement communities in Leesburg, Lady Lake, Sumter County, Marion County. If someone wanted to discuss a reverse mortgage, can they do it over the phone with you?
Absolutely. I would love to hear from anyone that is considering a reverse mortgage or just wants to discuss it. And I can be reached at 352-383-3046.
Okay, so they call you. Can they make application on, over the phone or online for a reverse mortgage?
Absolutely. It usually just starts with a phone conversation.
Now, at some point, say you're able to get an appraisal and you get through someone in the reverse mortgage process, do they have to come to Mount Dora, or can you go to them?
Oh, they don't have to come to Mount Dora. I can come to them. I travel all over our area. The important thing to know is it's really best for that type product really to work with somebody local.
Why is that?
Because it is a complicated transaction and you really need somebody to sit down with you and go over the numbers and the options, because there are different reverse mortgage options, and to know that you're getting the right product that meets your needs.
I hear, and you tell me if I'm wrong, the biggest thing in reverse mortgages is people don't explain in detail what's going to happen upon their death, or they go to sell the house. There's a misunderstanding that, and they just know they're getting the money, but they don't know how it ultimately gets squared up. Do you find that generally where I can just, for example, imagine if someone called a 1-800 number and tried to do the online reverse mortgage or something, that they may not truly understand what's happening.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true, yes. And a lot of people like to meet with somebody face to face.
Reverse mortgages, though, really are not scary products. It's really something. It was really designed by President Reagan and the group back then to help seniors be more autonomous on their own. In other words, if they had equity in their homes, they could use it to live on it. And I guess that product's evolved to that, hasn't it?
It has. There's nothing else on the market like it. It's a great product.
And the general credit score is about like other mortgages?
Well, there really is not a credit score requirement. We just review the credit report and make sure that the borrower has got the ability to make their payments and the willingness to make their payments on time.
Well, and they've got to have the ability and willingness to pay their taxes and insurance, doesn't it?
Correct, yes, because we do verify that taxes and insurance have been paid on time for the last 2 years.
If someone called you today saying they wanted a reverse mortgage, how long is the actual process from the day they call you till they get a check in hand?
Sure, it's about a 30-day process, 30 to 45-day process.
Wow, that's not long.
No, it's not.
And it's very important. Take it you got to have anybody who's on the deed, they have to participate.
Yes, for the most part.
Let me ask you a good question, because I know there's a lot of single seniors out there who may have a home that's in their name and their son's name or daughter's name. Does that pose an obstacle for them getting a reverse mortgage?
Well, the reverse mortgage can only be in the name of the homeowner that is 62 years of age or older.
Okay, but if the homeowner and the son, because it's important, they'll say a single widower or widow owns a home and he's put his son also on the mortgage too, and he's 45 and she's 70. Can they work a reverse mortgage out on something like that?
Absolutely. The mortgage itself would only be in the parent's name, but then once that home is no longer the primary resident of that parent, then yes, the loan would have to be paid off. So either the son or the daughter would have to get their own mortgage and pay off the reverse mortgage, or they would sell the home and pay it off with the proceeds.
And the problem with, and there's usually not a problem selling the home, because the loan is only good for roughly half the value of the home.
Correct.
Okay. I think I've learned a lot about reverse mortgages, but there are some changes. But once again, I said this earlier about other mortgages. I don't know how you get through that process if you're a senior around here and you don't have a Mary Rhodes get you through it. It seems to me very confusing.
Sure. Yes. Deal with someone local.
Mary, in the last few minutes, talking about all the various mortgage products that's offered at the mortgage firm, give us some good tips for getting through a mortgage process successfully, so that ultimately we can get the house or home we need.
The most important thing is to provide the documentation that's required and provide it in a timely manner to make sure that you'll close on time. Deal with somebody local who use local appraisers and local inspectors. find a good homeowner's insurance company to get the good coverage that you need for your home, and just go through the process and just enjoy your new home.
Well, Mary, thank you for being our guest today. You've been so informative as always. Once again, if someone has a question, what's the phone number they can call you at?
I can be reached on at 352-383-3046. Mary Rhodes with the mortgage firm.
And I'd like to thank you for watching Around the House today, and be sure to tune in every Monday from noon until 1 on my 790 WLBE in Leesburg. Plus, catch Around the House, the column, Wednesdays in the South Lake Press, Saturdays in the Daily Commercial, and be sure to catch Around the House on there nightly on LSTV. Until next week, I will see you around the house.